All right, so you want to get your hands dirty with a deep dive into the world of brick and tile casting.
Because I have to admit, when I first saw this stack of resources you sent over, I was picturing, well, a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah.
But it turns out this career is way more fascinating than I realized.
Oh, it really is.
Yeah.
We often associate this field with physical strength, and while that's definitely a factor,
Right.
these sources paint a picture of a profession that's just as much about artistry and precision.
Okay, stop right there. Artistry.
Yeah.
That's not the first word that comes to mind when I think about bricks and tiles.
Right. But it's true. Think about it. Brick and tile work is everywhere, and it's not just about structural integrity.
Right.
It's about aesthetics, creating visually appealing patterns, and even incorporating unique finishes.
Wow.
These craftspeople aren't just laborers. They're using artistic principles to elevate everyday structures.
That's actually pretty cool. So I'm guessing that keen eye for detail mentioned in the career guide is more about an artist's eye than I initially thought.
Okay. It reminds me of this one article I read about a restoration project. They were recreating these ornate hand-glazed tiles for a historic building. And the article mentioned that the tiniest variation in the glaze mixture would have completely thrown off the final color.
Wow.
These folks had to be meticulous understanding how even subtle changes impact the overall aesthetic.
Wow. Talk about pressure. So it sounds like there's a real science to it too, beyond just the artistic side.
Absolutely. This career guide also highlighted the importance of chemistry in this field.
Okay.
It's not just about mixing clay and water. These professionals were working with different compositions of materials, adjusting for heat pressure, all while ensuring the final product meets specific standards.
It's like they're alchemists transforming raw materials into these durable yet often beautiful elements of construction.
Exactly. And speaking of transformations, the technology involved in this field is evolving rapidly too.
Really?
Forget the image of someone hand-molding clay all day. We're talking sophisticated machinery like industrial mixers, conveyors, and these things called extrusion heads.
Extrusion heads?
Yeah.
That sounds more like something out of a sci-fi movie than a construction site.
Right. But these things are crucial for creating consistent shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
Imagine pushing clay through a mold to create a specific form. That's essentially what extrusion is, but on a much larger, more automated scale.
Okay, so maybe not as exciting as a spaceship, but still pretty cool.
Oh.
So a typical day for a brick and tile caster involves a blend of artistry, scientific knowledge, and operating high-tech machinery.
You got it.
Okay.
And don't forget problem solving. Remember, those machines don't run themselves.
Right.
The guide stressed that brick and tile casters are constantly monitoring production, troubleshooting issues, and adjusting settings to ensure quality.
That's a lot to juggle.
Yeah.
It makes you realize that this job requires a diverse skill set. You need to be adaptable, a quick thinker, and have a good understanding of both the creative and technical aspects of the process.
You're hitting the nail on the head. And, all of this got me thinking, what's the career trajectory for someone in this field? Are they stuck in the same role forever, or is there room for growth? Actually, the career path is surprisingly structured. The career guide outlines a clear progression, starting with entry-level positions, then moving up to junior caster, senior caster, and even management roles.
So you start as a rookie learning the ropes from the ground up. It's like an apprenticeship, right? You're probably assisting experienced casters, gaining hands-on experience with the materials and machinery.
Exactly. And as you progress to a junior caster, you take on more responsibility, operating machinery, independently monitoring production runs, and even troubleshooting those inevitable hiccups that pop up.
I bet those problem-solving skills are put to the test. No 2 days are the same, I imagine.
You're right about that. And as you gain expertise, you can climb the ladder to a senior caster position. Now, this is where leadership comes into play. You're training new recruits, developing efficient processes, and even analyzing production data to optimize everything.
So it becomes less about hands-on crafting and more about managing people and processes. Interesting how this career track can flex different skills over time.
Precisely. And for those with a real drive to oversee the entire operation, there's always the possibility of moving into a management role. Think overseeing budgets, collaborating with different teams. It becomes a strategic position within the construction hierarchy.
It really does show that there's more to skilled trades than people often realize. You can build a whole career, not just take a job. But, okay, let's say someone is listening to all this and thinking, sign me up. What are the must-have skills to really thrive in this field?
Well beyond the obvious production and processing knowledge, which covers the nuts and bolts of brick and tile making, there are some surprising requirements. Remember we talked about the artistry involved?
Yeah.
The career guide actually lists fine arts as a valuable asset.
Hold on, really? Are they expecting these folks to be sculpting masterpieces out of clay?
Not exactly. But remember those ornate tiles we discussed earlier. Think about the design principles involved, understanding texture, color palettes, how different glazes interact visually to create stunning effects. That artistic sense is key for crafting aesthetically pleasing and sometimes even custom products.
So it's about having an eye for design even on a large scale. That makes sense, especially as buildings become more design-focused.
Right. And then there's the science side. The guide also emphasizes the importance of chemistry knowledge.
Okay, I'm sensing a theme here. This job is a lot more about brains than brawn. But seriously, how does chemistry come into play with brick and tile casting?
Think about it. You're dealing with different types of clay, various concrete mixtures, and even the chemical makeup of glazes. Understanding how these materials react to heat pressure and each other is vital for producing high-quality, durable products. It's like baking, but on a much larger, more industrial scale, you need the right ingredients in the right proportions to get the desired result.
It's like they're conducting this intricate dance between art and science, with a dash of industrial engineering thrown in for good measure. That's fascinating.
It really is. But having those skills is just one part of the equation. Let's say someone is ready to get their foot in the door. What's the best way to break into this field?
Well, according to this career guide, it seems like starting with entry-level positions is key.
Absolutely.
So it's like any skilled trade.
Yeah.
You need that hands-on experience to really learn the ropes.
It's about getting comfortable with the materials, understanding the machinery, and seeing how everything comes together in a production environment. Think of it like an apprenticeship. You're learning from seasoned professionals and building a solid foundation for your career.
And I'm guessing networking is crucial too, right? Meeting people already established in the field.
Exactly. The guide mentioned joining professional organizations like the International Ceramic Artists Network or the American Ceramic Circle. These groups offer fantastic opportunities to connect with experienced craftspeople, share knowledge, and even learn about potential job openings.
It's all about building those connections and tapping into the expertise of those who've been there, done that.
Couldn't agree more. And here's another tip from the guide. Attend industry trade shows and conferences.
Oh, yeah.
They're like crash courses in the latest technologies and trends.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a chance to rub elbows with potential employers and see what's happening on the cutting edge of brick and tile casting.
It's like that saying, network or not work.
But speaking of technology, we can't ignore the elephant in the room. Our sources mention automation and AI becoming increasingly prevalent in this field. That's bound to shake things up, right?
It certainly will. Remember those high-tech mixing machines and extrusion heads we talked about?
Yeah.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. The career guide predicts a future where automation plays an even bigger role, with robots potentially handling some of the more physically demanding tasks. So instead of being replaced by technology, do you think brick and tile casters will need to become even more tech-savvy?
Exactly. Knowing how to program, operate, and troubleshoot those automated systems will be crucial. It's not just about craftsmanship anymore. It's about understanding how technology integrates into every facet of the production process.
It's like this job is evolving before our very eyes. But that brings up an important question. What does this mean for the future of the profession?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
While some worry about machines replacing human workers, history often shows us something different. Think about it. When computers became commonplace, it didn't eliminate jobs. It created entirely new industries and opportunities.
So instead of replacing humans entirely, technology could lead to a demand for different skill sets, maybe even new roles we haven't even imagined yet.
Precisely. We might see a surge in demand for specialists who can design, program, maintain, and repair these advanced automated systems. The human element, the creativity and ingenuity, will still be incredibly valuable, but it will be exercised in different ways.
It's like how a master craftsman still needs to understand the tools of their trade, even if those tools become more sophisticated.
Exactly. And, it makes you wonder, as automation and AI advance, will there always be a place for the human touch that artisan's eye? Will there be a premium placed on custom handcrafted pieces alongside those mass-produced by machines?
That's a fascinating thought. It's like the difference between a factory-made item and something crafted by a skilled artisan. There's a certain value, a uniqueness to that human touch that machines might never replicate.
That's the thing about the future. It's full of possibilities. And for someone considering a career in brick and tile casting, it's an exciting, albeit unpredictable landscape.
Well said. This deep dive has certainly opened my eyes to a profession I knew surprisingly little about. It's a blend of physical and mental agility, a fusion of art and technology, and it seems there's never a dull moment.
And with technology rapidly transforming the industry, who knows what the future holds? One thing is for sure, it's a career path with endless potential for those willing to adapt, learn, and embrace innovation.
So, to our listeners, we hope this deep dive has given you a newfound appreciation for the fascinating world of brick and tile casting. It's a field ripe with opportunity where creativity and technical prowess collide and where the only constant is change. Remember, the best way to predict the future is to create it.